Hi everyone! Hello Maria!
Hello Armelle! Hi everyone!
Nice to see you again. Here we are for our second episode. We're so happy that you are with us again and that we can give you more nuggets on how to live an amazing life. So today I think that something that stood up last time is conditioning. Maria, was that what it was? Can you tell us a little bit how we ended it?
If you watched our last episode, you would remember that Armelle started to segue into a really fantastic conversation about the power of reconditioning oneself every single day to the point where we wake up and we almost don't even have to do it because it's who we are now. So let's dig deep in how we do that and the effects of the reconditioning can have on our life to equal success in areas. And that's success in terms of like total fulfillment and happiness, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be what it is. Not success in I am famous, I have plenty of money, and it can happen and I'm happy for you if it's the case. But success for me would be having a very fulfilled life, just as Maria just said. And what fulfillment would mean to me would mean knowing who you are at the core, because we are happiness, we are joy, we are peace of mind, we are everything that we've been looking for. So fulfillment is knowing who you are in your essence, and knowing that is changing everything. So let's go into it. Conditioning, let's start by that. You could certainly know that we are conditioned being. We don't come in this world, you know, when we're born knowing everything. What we know when we are born is our essence. When we get born, a baby is still one with his mother. A baby is still one with everything. That's why babies are so sensitive, that they pick up on all the energies. You know, you've seen that with your little one, that she will feel and be sensitive. If you are stressed, she will cry. You can see that, right?
Yes.
So that's because a baby is still one with everything. It's only when they grow, maybe 2-3 years old, they start to have an experience of they are different than their mother, different than the environment, and they start to think by themselves, I could say. Not exactly, but yes, think by themselves. And we can see that the world we live in, we have to learn it. It is not something that is natural to us.
Yes.
We have to learn it. We learn languages, we learn how to behave, we learn, what do we learn? We learn how to eat,
yes.
We learn how to walk, all of it.
How
to speak, everything is not natural. The only thing that is natural is just the fact that we are. It's just the fact that there is this oneness. We are not aware of it. So that's the difference between a baby and then a sage, is that they are one with everything, but they don't know it, a baby. But a sage will know it. So that's the difference, right? And so the world needs to be taught. We need to learn it. And that is what conditioning is all about. So at the basic, conditioning is not a wrong thing. It's not bad. It's how we get to live life the way we do. So the moment where conditioning starts to become a problem, it's when we have been conditioned to act a certain way based on the life we had our 6 or 7 first years, because we are learning so much these years, because our mind functions differently in a different hypnotic state of mind, actually. That's why we learn so fast when we are little. And so what happens is that we have defense system, we have been taught, we heard maybe our parents say, you're a bad boy, you're a bad girl, be nice to your daughter, to your sister, to your brother, and and then we think that these thoughts and these things that people, our parents, teachers have told us, we think it's who we are. The trauma we had, we think, define us. And so we have this defense system that become how we function in life. And at some point, when we grow up, it's too much. We can't live by it. Until then, we did live by it, and it was working, and they were there all but for survival, and it was okay. But at some point, they become like, you know, a pajama of 6 when you are 12. It's too small. And it's painful to wear it. So the defense system and the conditioning becomes like that. It becomes painful. And you feel there's much more to myself, but I cannot express it. There's more to me, there's more to life, but I cannot access it. Like, you know, you had that, right?
Yes.
I mean, when we go to Tony Robbins, for example, we're like, unleash the power within. We certainly want to unleash all that we feel that's inside of us. And
Yes.
just feel like we are free and we are full expression of ourselves.
Yes.
So we have this knowing that we are more than what we express, that we are more than what we show and what we allow. And we're looking for that. And usually we're looking for that as in a specific form. But what we are really looking for is coming back to our unlimited nature. Mm-hmm. And we know that because that's who we are. And our nature will call us over and over again until we answer the call. So it's very important, because if you are a seeker in any way, if you are looking for more in your life, if you're looking for peace, for happiness, for even pleasure in plenty of different ways, you certainly have heard this call. You feel this call, you know this call, and you don't know how to answer it. This is the answer. What's calling is your soul. What's calling is God. What's calling is consciousness calling you to wake up to who you are. And so conditioning is that thing that allows us to become an individual, to learn how to function in this world. We all know that, right? I mean, you learn how to maybe take your fork, how to take your knife. We all learn that. You can see with your little one today that you teach her some little things. So we do that naturally. Yes. Teaching and learning is natural in these early years.
Yes.
And then when it becomes too much, it's when we grow and we realize this is not who I am. There's more to me than what I express. And so conditioning is something that can at some point become too small. Like, and we feel tightened in ourselves. We feel like I can't be who I am. And so when that happens, what we do is that we look for the cause of it. And when we look for the cause of it, usually we go to the past. We go to my childhood. We go to how my parents were with me. We go to all these things, like what happened to me in my life, how my culture is, how the government is, how the country in which I live is. And we look for reason why we are the way we are. And yes, we just are the way we are.
Can I just recap
yes.
quickly? So what you're suggesting, correct me if I'm wrong, is that our past is about us, not who we are.
Yeah, it's the story of life that we tell ourselves and that we've been told,
yes,
and that has conditioned us. And the natural way, the natural path for a human being is to get born, feeling this oneness, starting to be conditioned, because it's how we are individuated. And then we become an individual, and then at some point in life, our soul or God is calling us back to our nature. Mm-hmm. And that's what awakening is all about.
And that's pain. Is pain what calls us?
It can be pain. Pain could be what causes us to go back.
Yeah.
Only if we don't listen to our soul. So okay, if we don't listen to our soul all along our life, and we don't listen to intuition, basically our soul is intuition talking to us all the time. All these small nuggets and sense that we had. I should go by there, I should talk to this person, I should do that. Yes. Not like you should as an obligation, but a sense of, yeah, that is the thing that I'm called into.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to say something? Go.
I resonate with that. I had a little intuition voice today at one point, and it's such a faint little voice.
Yeah.
I'm not yet conditioned to hear it clearly or hear it and do something with it.
Right. But I've seen you also hearing it and do something with it, like it's right away.
It's magic when that happens, isn't it? It's
at the restaurant.
Yes.
And it was amazing. I want to say this because it was just amazing. We were having lunch, the two of us, and with her daughter, and and there were some young women coming at the table just beside us, and they were at the coffee shop just beside the restaurant where we were, and they were making a lot of noise, and they were gonna go on a Zoom call, they had a meeting and all that. And Maria had the sense that, do you really have to do that here? Because we are having a lunch here and just a conversation, and it's just a lot of noise. We can't almost hear each other. And then they were like almost shocked. And I was watching the scene because I could feel that where Maria was coming from was like so direct. Like there was something that she was saying, she was feeling something that was not aligned. They most likely were trying to have their meeting in the sun because it was nicer, but that was not the best place. And so we could feel that energetically something was not lined up. And Maria felt it more than me, and she felt it and she spoke it directly. And I was watching the scene because I know that when that is the case, usually God alive rearranges things. So in 3 minutes, the internet stopped working. They had to go back in, and they couldn't go on their Zoom call, and they had to go back in and plug the computer because there was no internet. So that's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
So it's important because when you do listen to your intuition, to your soul, to what you feel is right, and you speak it up, you always bless everyone around you, and you always help everyone to feel this alignment, which to me is really the way I live my life since 15 years. Listening to this voice, 20 years even, listening to this voice and living in alignment as much as I can with my soul, with how I am called, and to make the right decision. Not right as right and wrong, right as aligned with who I am and with my highest purpose, which is to serve God or love or, you know, life. And to, when you do that, actually what you do is that you not only you don't create karma for yourself or others, plus you also actually take some off because you live in alignment, and because of that you bring love to a situation that might have none. So to me, wondering, am I right? Like, is it aligned what I'm doing is very, very important. And talking about that in conditioning is actually perfect, because the way we've been taught to be is to be polite, is to function in a certain way in society, which sometimes is absolutely not aligned with our sense. So when we are little, we're told, say hi to this person, say hi to that person, give a kiss, and all that. And inside, as a kid, we might feel, no, I don't want to say hi to that woman. No, I don't want to say hi and give a kiss to that man. And we are forced because it is to be polite. But it's going against our sense because our parents have been conditioned. They want us to be conditioned like them. In order to prove that they are good parents, we have to say hi. We have to go against our feeling. So for me, I really feel like it's many years that when a kid doesn't want to say hi to me, I'm like, no worry, you don't have to. And often parents force them, and I don't like it because it's going against what they feel. It's not that I have a bad energy or anything. It doesn't mean anything about the person. It just means that where the kid is at that point, it's not right for them.
Yes.
And I feel it's so important if we can raise up our kids in a way that we actually listen to their wisdom, because they are still connected with their soul. We are most of the time not.
Yes.
Even though this show is about reconnecting you with all of that so that you can live this magic too and live this life. But so the path of awakening for me is really about that, like deconditioning us from everything we've been taught on how to be a good boy or a good girl, yes, and how to function properly into society, to actually, how is my soul calling me now? What am I to say here in this situation? Who am I to talk to? And how am I to behave?
I also want to add the importance to this. I learned it recently. As Armelle described, I am a health coach, and there's a lot of eating disorders these days that are unfortunately actually derived from the fact that a lot of us don't know who we are inside, and it's why we run to food as a means to hide or deal with that stress or that uncertainty. So it's actually so important for us to learn how to be intuitive again and aligned, so our health is also even better.
Exactly. Yeah. This is amazing that you say that, because when I thought about what can we talk about, what are we going to talk about today, I really had this sense that we all know what's right. Mm-hmm. And again, not right and wrong as in morality. Mm-hmm. Right as in align with who I am, with my being, right? So we all know what to eat, what not to eat. And because society has become as it has become, we will just eat whatever is served to us, like full of sugar, full of like chemical, full of things that are absolutely not natural and not good for our bodies. But our bodies also are conditioned. So if we eat a lot of this, we will want more of this. So we will think that our body wants more of this, but that's not true. It's often our emotions that have been conditioned. And in order to not feel them, we will go towards that food again and will think that it is exactly what I want right now. But in an intuitive sense, we know that this is not what we are to eat. This is not what we really want. And so we've been actually, we're going through a society crisis, I feel, at this point. And this society crisis is showing us that the way society works is really not healthy in all ways. Economically, health-wise, relationship-wise, financially, the way we are with each other. Like, I was talking to someone yesterday and I was saying, I actually really think that we should come back to tribes, because we are a system. So for example, people that are living on the street are not a problem. They are the expression of a system that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And they are part of the system. So if we just put them on the side, it doesn't solve the problem, because the problem is not them. The problem is in the system. Mm-hmm. And so we have to start to look at things in a broader way. Instead of me and my happiness, it's us, we, and what we want to create as a world for all of us and for our children also. So there is really this intuitive sense that when you go somewhere where you can sense there's something off here. And so when I say right, that would be that, like off or right. Like you can feel it. There's something off in the way I eat. There's something off in what I choose to believe. There's something off in the thought I feed each and every day. And so it's all of that. And so our depression, our eating disorders, our addiction, the way we feel, the anxiety, everything, all of that is just saying there is something off in the way I am in life. It's not I have a problem. No, I'm not listening to the right voice. Basically, that's what it is. There is a voice that brings us home with a capital H. Home as in one with God. Home as in heaven on earth. And that voice is what alignment is all about. It's our soul calling back to who we are.
And how do we listen to more? Like, how can we enhance that alignment in our life?
Right. So can you just see how this voice is starting to show up more and more because you pay more and more attention to it?
Especially the more society starts doing things that you said are more off, you start to come back to your voice again because you're taking responsibility.
Right.
Like you said right in the beginning, we will blame society, we'll blame our parents, we'll blame our past. And now what's happening is that it's starting to become, I'm personally becoming consciously aware, oh, none of them are causing how I feel.
Yeah.
But it feels off, so I need to come back home.
Beautiful. So beautiful, because you really, by what you say, you're really showing that the crisis we are going through now, everything that's going on in the world right now is actually showing us that we all have an intuitive sense of what is the right direction for this world and society. And that there's something that's going on that most of us feel is off. And not in good or bad again, and not in us against them, not at all, just more in a line way with being. There is something that is not going the right direction, and that is calling for alignment. And I feel that situation, the moment there, is actually beautiful because it's hot, it's off, and because it doesn't resonate for you anymore. There is a crack between both. There is a gap that's created, and that gap is actually the opportunity to, as you say, just realize, I feel different about this now. I'm not attracted by the same thing I was attracted before. I feel something else is calling me. I feel I want more quiet. I want more nature. I want more simplicity. Yes, earning money is great because we feel we can do a lot of things. But do I need as much as I thought I needed? Or do I want to bring more happiness, joy, friendship, relationship, meaningfulness in my life also? And do I want maybe my job to also be a reflection of my consciousness and my awareness today? And so I feel that is what we are going through now. And that's beautiful because there is something outside that doesn't resonate with us anymore. As you say, we are forced to come back and say, what is important for me?
Yes.
What do I really want? And this is the beginning of you listening to this voice again. And you can ask yourself the question over and over again in each and every situation before making any decision. Is it right for me? Is it aligned with who I am? Is it aligned with my values? Is it aligned with the person I want to be in this world and the difference I want to make here, now, today, and every day? And to me, that's going to be the soul already speaking to you when you ask that question. And just to also say something about what you said, because I think we spoke about it before, when we were just the two of us, not on camera. I do believe that the path of awakening is a path actually bringing us from teenagerhood to adulthood. And that what we are going even through as a society is that we are in a place where we are to stop blaming the world, blaming others, blaming parents, blaming our past, blaming situation. So this is teenagerhood. As a teenager, we are to rebel, we are to blame everything, and we just want to just do whatever we want, whenever we want, and we don't want to be responsible. And to me, awakening is actually coming into full fruition of our adulthood, which is full responsibility for my life, the way I feel each and every moment, and what I choose to feed on a daily basis. So I just feel like it was important to really say that because it is a big change in society. And I think we are all called into that. And it's individually and globally, collectively.
Yes. And I'd like to believe that this is exactly how it's meant to be right now. I feel like a lot of us are coming back back to our intuition. That's actually exactly why I have a daughter now. Honestly, I thought I didn't want a kid because it would stop my freedom and my adventure and destroy my connection with my husband. Like, you know, all these things that you were conditioned to hear or have seen from your past. So with me being able to hear it, I was able to acknowledge the fact that I was ready to be a mom. And then suddenly that acknowledgement turned out to be this deep, passionate need and desire to be a mom. And now she's in my life. And I'm so grateful in a sense that I was pushed to come back home in alignment to hear that desire, that voice. Otherwise we're going to miss it, aren't we? We'll be kids forever.
Yeah, and often actually we miss it because we have a life that is just going 100 kilometers an hour, and so we're going so fast and we don't take the time to just sit, to just stop, to just go in silence for just 1 minute, to just breathe and just be here. And this is in this moment you hear. You can start to hear what is calling in you. What are you called into? How is life calling you, talking to you? Like, are you aligned with your values and who you are and who you want to be in this world? Because that question will change your whole life. And I feel for myself that many years ago, I think it was in 2009, I went to my first spiritual retreat. And when I arrived there, we were to serve for 3 weeks. So to be in service, doing cooking, mowing the lawn, cleaning, just everything. And when I started to do that, I started to feel, wow, this is what I was born to live. I was born to serve. And I truly believe that that's what awakening is bringing us back into. Serving the greatest, serving the highest, best of all, not my highest best, the highest best of all. And so I think that everything that's going on now is also to bring us back to more collaboration, more coming together, listening to this voice, listening to soul far much more, and knowing where am I to be in life? What am I to be creating? How am I to make a difference? Because if you want fulfillment, joy, and meaning in your life, you have to have a purpose. And the highest purpose for me is actually to serve life. And as you listen to this voice, what is going to happen, because we started by that, is that you're going to recondition yourself from the way you've been conditioned to be a good girl, a good boy, to being who you are. And you can certainly sense that being who you are is bigger and greater than being a good boy or a good girl.
Yes.
Usually we've been taught to play roles, right? Even as a parent, we often talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. As a parent, you've been seeing how people want you to be a certain way. And then we talk and I'm like, no, just listen to your intuition. You know, you are her mother. She's talking to you. You know what's best for her. Yeah. Because if you listen to her, if you listen to you, to yourself, to what you know everything. And we've been conditioned to a parent must be like that. You need to raise a kid like that. A mother has to be like that. At that age, they have to do that. At that age, they have to be like that. And this is so not true. So we've been actually conditioned to not respect ourselves and to not listen to this voice that is actually having us grow in a completely natural way. Just realize one thing, I think it's important, is that this life has grown in your belly for 9 months. You didn't do anything about it, right?
Nothing.
You didn't do anything at all. And then she's out and she's there, right? Yeah. And as soon as they are there, we think we have to pick up and we have to start to do something to make them grow. When actually life was doing it and has been doing it since the beginning. And so often as a parent, we will interfere with the natural current of life. And that's what conditioning is about. There are conditioning that are really great. For example, how to use your fork. It's very easy. It's very, convenient also when you go to the restaurant. It's nice to eat with your finger also. I have to say I like that. But it's convenient, to know how to hold your fork, for example. That is also conditioning. But all the conditioning that have us play a role, that's the ones that are suddenly too small for us. Yes. And that's the one that have to fall away, that we have to become aware of, because they keep us in a way of being that is creating more suffering for us, but also for others.
Yes. And that if we allow conditioning to happen for us, sometimes I don't think we're even aware of the conditioning. So, Armelle, do you want to actually explain, in fact, when you say conditioning, what that actually means?
Mm-hmm. So, for example, it's everything that our parents repeat to us over and over again. So, just an example of my life. I don't know if my mother told me that often or if it's just one time that she said that and it stuck in me, but I thought I was mean. I really thought I was a mean person. at some point in my life when I truly feel like I have such a huge heart. But this thought would just come often, regularly, that I would feel like I'm a mean person. And I remember sometimes where I was maybe doing something to my sister and my mother was saying like, you're mean, you cannot do that. No, this is mean. And so I got that I am mean. Or the way I was behaving was like, I am mean. And so I would have that somewhere in my psyche. And from time to time, in some situation, it would come in a situation where maybe I am not at all in that. Like I am actually super loving and generous and sharing and all that. And I would have something in me that's saying, like a small voice saying you're mean, or a sense that I'm hiding or I'm lying. If only these people knew who I really am, they would see that I am mean, like I'm faking what I am. And I'm faking this love, which was totally not true. It actually is truly who I am. And this thought in my mind was the false thought that I was not to believe in. And so it's these thoughts, all these ways that we've been spoken to, and that we've been spoken to maybe one time that was very impactful, or plenty of time, regularly, over and over and over again. So much so that we made it the truth. Yes. The truth of life, or the truth about who we are. And so all these principles that we live by are conditioning. And some might be very helpful. Like, for example, knowing that we drive on the right side of the street in America, very helpful. Because if we were on the left side, like in Australia, as you've been conditioned, that would be terrible, right?
Exactly.
And if everybody was driving wherever they want, that would be a real mess. So these are really good conditioning, right? It's a conditioning that's helping society to function together. Yes. But then there are conditioning where we play roles that are not who we are, and that are going against listening to our intuition or soul. And these conditioning are what creates suffering, because we cut ourselves off from who we truly are. So it's, for example, how to be a good husband, how to be a good wife, how we should behave when we get married, what commitment mean, for example, for someone who has had a terrible, tough childhood, and they may be completely scared of that, and certainly they don't want to go there because commitment is being stuck, for example. That is a conditioning. That is a belief that has become a truth because of an experience that we had. And so the more aware we become on how we function on a daily basis, the more free we will be. And freedom is our natural state. And freedom is not doing everything we want. Freedom is being who we are. And sometimes we, like for example, Nelson Mandela, he was free in prison. So freedom is not about doing everything we want.
He was always free, wasn't he? Because he was jailed for being who he was.
Yeah.
And speaking his truth.
Exactly.
So no one could ever take that away.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a very, very important topic, and I hope that you have taken so much from the importance of conditioning. And also I personally have now regained an absolute, it's almost like if we don't condition ourselves in the morning with new thoughts, we are constantly going to be compounding the negative ones that we have. So the time is now to wake up, spend a couple of minutes to condition your mind first thing in the morning. For me, an example would be, I am a wonderful, loving, abundant mother. I am a passionate, caring wife. I am a joyous, loving, abundant person. Like, I am a fit, healthy, active woman. Like, conditioning these things, I'm going to start walking around in complete alignment to my soul, and then suddenly life is just like coming to me in forms of miracles, because I'm finally living in alignment.
Yeah. So, and you say miracles because we have to kind of tone it down almost, but miracles is the way we should live every day. This is our natural state. Miracles are happening all the time. We don't see it because we cut ourselves off from this perspective, which is a higher perspective, which is really living in alignment and living in God. To me, that's really what it is. And so it's really important what you say. I maybe we can just finish on that, but I really feel it's important because the mind is designed to focus all the time. It's designed to focus. So if you don't choose what you want to focus on, it's going to focus on anything that's there. And if you don't choose, it's going to focus on what you feed the most. So if you feed the most the depression, the stress, the anxiety, the lack, etc., you're going to have more of that. But if you start to choose to focus on, I am energy rich, I am the love that I am, or anything that Maria just said, and really creating something bigger for yourself and knowing that I am much more than what I express and I am abundant, not as just repeating, really as a feel it, like be it, know it in every cell of your being, and just start to express that and make choices that respond to that energy. It's really important. If you make choices that respond or correspond to an energy of lack, fear, or pain, or unhealthy, you will keep having more of that. If you start to make choices that respond to a higher energy, that correspond to that energy of energy rich, or full of life, full of joy, and that's how you make your decision, you're gonna have more of that too. So maybe just a small last nugget for today. The example is that if you make your decision based, for example, for food, because we spoke about that today. I coached a friend. She was always making decision for food based on the money she had. And she didn't have a lot. And based on how she was conditioned in her past when she was little. And so she would buy rice and beans and eggs. And she would mostly eat that. And I say, but the thing is that if you eat what your body really wants, it might feel or seem as the beginning as it's more expensive. But if you eat what your body really wants, you will eat less because it will be filled and nourished in a really great way, actually. And so she started to change, and she started when she went shopping. That was the homework that I gave her. When you go shopping, don't shop with money. Shop with, what do you want, body? What is my body wanting now? And then pay whatever it costs. In a month, she actually made new sparings. In 2 or 3 months, she could see that her budget of food has gone down, although she was eating salmon and plenty of good things, like maybe parm ham, good things that her body really wanted, plenty of vegetables and lentil soup and stuff like that, because it was exactly what her body wanted. She ate less, she lost weight, she felt better in her skin, and she had more money. So I feel like if you make decision based on a higher truth, which is, what is my soul calling me? What does my body really want? Not sugar, because that's not, sometimes it might be, but sugar on a daily basis non-stop is certainly not what the body wants. It's the mind and it's emotional. So if you start making decision on a higher energy, you'll start to have more and more experiences of a higher energy. And so if you start to not make decision based on lack, but on abundance, you're going to start to have more and more abundance too.
That is a fantastic way to end, and a great example.
Thank you. Well, I feel that I spoke a lot, a lot more than you today.
It was a perfect amount. Yes, and I'm sure you all agree, because we all took away lots of important information.
Is there anything that you want to finish with, though? With everything?
No, that is perfect, and I think that's going to segue us into a new conversation about, I think, even purpose.
Yeah.
Now that we know how to listen to that alignment, what do we do with that power?
Right.
What do we do? How do we move forward and create the life we always dream of?
Cool. Yes.
So till next time.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.
Because we decided we're going to try to do that. We're going to do that every week.
Yes.
So we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.